Alright, so keeping with the theme of analyzing turning points, I look at some of the futures markets, and over here this is a turning point on the gold market. So maybe I should do this one. Alright, never mind. Let's just do this one right here. Alright, so this is 0.4 Renko. I think that's $400 per brick. Alright, so like 40 cents. So this one right here, we got a little bit of distribution and then selling. So the couple of things to remember. Alright, and I'll type them out. Obviously trend. Alright, now why trend? It seems like an obvious question, but it doesn't have an obvious answer. Folks will say, that's a higher high, higher low, or something like that. But the reason why you trade with trend is, as a trader, you're looking for more reward to risk, and that means that trend is the way to get that. And what I mean by that is because when you analyze trend, you'll see this fundamental fact. The uptrends mean that it's not just higher high, higher lows, it's the up waves are bigger than the down waves. And in downtrends, the down waves are bigger than the up waves. So the fact that they're bigger is what's appealing. Because they're bigger, the reward on that side that's with trend is bigger. That's it. So from a risk reward perspective, when you trade with trend, if in an uptrend, the up waves will be bigger than down waves, and in a downtrend, the down waves will be bigger than the up waves, will naturally result in a risk to reward bias where the waves that are with trend are bigger than the waves that are not with trend. That's what it means. So I mean, just like an obvious example, you just take any trend and you see this as a fact. Look at this wave, down wave, big. Look at this down wave, big. Look at this down wave, big. Compare that to the up waves here. If you say that the trend started, let's say over here or on this lower low, right? We notice 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, a lot of bricks, right? 1 second. I got the bricks right. All right. You see the down bricks are 6 bricks, up is 3. Down is 8, up is like 3 and 4. Down is 11, up is like 3, 2, whatever. And then finally 3. So the waves themselves are bigger with trend. So you automatically aligning yourself with a high reward and probably the same amount of risk. So that's why you trade with trend, because the waves with trend are bigger, offering more reward to risk than the counter trend opportunities. And I just showed that, and anybody can understand that. Alright. So next piece here. So the next thing is just analyzing this trend over here. This turning point. I've already mentioned trend. Now I'm going to mention the second thing. The second thing is, and keeping it really simple, is a level. Alright, now level, you want level where supply overtakes demand or demand overtakes supply. Alright, where does this occur? There's only 2 of them. I mean, that's what I know. There's the pivot, where pivot, swing high, swing low, pivot, and there's the breakout. So here's a pivot, it's a turn. It's when you go from red to green or green to red. That's all it is. So here you have a pivot or a breakout, and that is when one side overtakes the other. Alright, so here where it says BO, what does that mean? That means there's a breakout. That supply overtook demand. It's a breakout. It's supply overtaking demand, and so is this turn, like from green to red or red to green. That's also when one side overtakes the other. So that's a level where one side overtakes the other. And now the third piece is heavy buying, selling when it comes back to test. Heavy buying or selling on the test. So here you have the market, because why? This tells you they are still there. They're still there. Alright, the sellers or the buyers are still there. That's the heaviness is telling you that. So over here, what do you see? You see a breakout right there. So now on the test right here, where it tests the breakout, you have trend. Okay, maybe just one time frame trend, but you have trend on that one time frame, right? Or one brick, whatever, one brick size. The second is level. You have level. Third is the heavy buying or selling still there? That means these guys who did the breakout, they're still there. Or someone, you know, who has a, I don't know who, but they're still there. These sellers are still there. So they're looking for lower objectives. So now we're going to analyze what happened on the test. Okay. So now I'm gonna did I mark it? Let's mark it. Let's put the resistance. All right. So that's the line that they sold off of. That not they sold off of, but the breakout, the breakdown. All right. Now that's the line, and you can see it right here. It says breakout and ding 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 test. All right. Now let's take a look at what happens. Okay. So the market rallies, it goes to that area. As it's going to that area, what do you start seeing? You see supplies coming in. Right there's one evidence. Right? That supply came in. It made a lower low. It tries to test, tries to up thrust. Right here you have your up thrust, and boom, rejected. And the amount of supply that comes in is startling. Look at big red over here. What is this saying? Are they still there is the question. This resistance line, when price comes to it, are the sellers still there? Obviously, big red is saying that they are still there. Right? So to recap, yeah, trend is favorable. Second, you have a breakout. Why is that important? Because it's a level where one side takes the other, overtakes the other. It's a place of strength, and where one side takes the other. So two places that obvious are the pivot and the breakout, right? Because you go from red to green, green to red on the pivot. So, you know, one side overtook the other. And then finally on the breakout, you have a break of pivot low where one side takes the other. So once that's there, I marked the resistance line from that breakout. All it did was break and test that area. as it tested that area, this thing happened. So this answers the third question. Are they still there? Which is dependent on whether there's heavy selling. Is this showing you heavy selling? It is showing you heavy selling. So they're still there. Why not join in? Right? So, and sometimes it's tricky because, yeah, there's a lot of selling, but then it's followed by strong buying, and that buying just went up to here. Okay. So is that buying effort? Is that this? Is that that? You know, all we know is that it went up, retested on nothing, and started going down, tested on nothing, made your lower low. And that's it. That is the art of the turning point, where I have showed you what Wyckoff tried to explain in his course in a YouTube video. Alright, thank you, bye.